An emotional wave has spread across the evangelical world after a deeply moving video message, reportedly shared by the wife of Rev. James Robison. In this emotional reflection, she addressed supporters with a heavy heart, speaking about a life that touched millions across decades of ministry, preaching, and humanitarian service. Her voice, described by viewers as trembling and filled with emotion, carried the weight of years of shared memories, public ministry, and private sacrifice. She spoke not only as a wife, but as someone who witnessed the full journey of a man who dedicated his entire life to faith, preaching, and serving others. According to the narrative shared online, she reflected on how Rev. James Robison was more than just a public evangelist. To many, he was a spiritual voice that echoed through stadiums, television broadcasts, and international crusades. But to those closest to him, he was also a man of quiet prayer, deep compassion, and unwavering belief. The message reportedly highlighted his decades-long journey through American Christian history. From his early years of passionate preaching to becoming a nationally recognized evangelist, Robison's life was marked by both influence and intensity. His sermons often focused on repentance, spiritual renewal, and hope for individuals and nations. Through his ministry, he became known for reaching massive audiences, often filling large venues with messages that blended emotion, conviction, and urgency. His voice became familiar in homes across the country through television programs that carried his teachings to millions. But in this emotional video narrative, the focus shifted away from public platforms and toward personal memories. His wife reportedly described him as someone who never separated ministry from life. Even in private moments, he was deeply committed to prayer and reflection, often carrying the emotional burdens of others in silence. She spoke about the unseen side of ministry, the pressure, responsibility, and emotional weight that comes with leading spiritually on a global scale. According to the message, there were moments of exhaustion, reflection, and quiet dependence on faith that shaped his journey behind the scenes. As the video continued, she reportedly acknowledged the overwhelming response from supporters around the world. Messages of grief, gratitude, and remembrance began spreading rapidly across social media platforms. Many people shared personal stories of how Rev. James Robison's sermons impacted their lives during moments of struggle, loss, or uncertainty. For some, his words became a source of comfort during difficult times. For others, his teachings shaped their understanding of faith and purpose. The emotional reactions reflected not just the loss of a public figure, but the remembrance of a spiritual influence that spanned generations. The narrative also emphasized his humanitarian work through Life Outreach International, which played a significant role in providing aid, clean water, food, and support to communities in need. This part of his legacy, often less discussed than his preaching, became a central theme in remembering his broader impact. According to the emotional message, these efforts represented his belief that faith must be combined with action. It was not enough, in his view, to preach hope. One must also live it through service to others. As the tribute continued, viewers described the tone of the message as deeply personal and reflective. It was not framed as a public announcement alone, but as a moment of remembrance shared with those who had followed his ministry for decades. The emotional weight of the message came not from dramatic language, but from sincerity. The idea that a life so publicly visible also contained private moments of struggle and prayer made the tribute even more powerful for many viewers. Social media quickly became filled with reactions. Some users shared clips of his most powerful sermons, while others posted written tributes describing how his ministry had influenced their faith journey. Across platforms, one theme remained consistent: gratitude for a life dedicated to spiritual service. Many also reflected on how rare it is for public figures to maintain such long-term influence. Rev. James Robison's name, for many, became associated not only with preaching, but with consistency, longevity, and commitment to faith-based outreach. In the narrative shared through the emotional video, his wife also expressed appreciation for the global support received from followers, colleagues, and ministry partners. She acknowledged the impact of collective prayers and messages that came from around the world, highlighting the unity that his ministry had helped create over the years. As the message concluded, it reportedly shifted from grief toward reflection. Rather than focusing only on loss, it emphasized legacy, the idea that a life dedicated to faith does not end with passing, but continues through influence, memory, and the lives touched along the way. Rev. James Robison's story, as remembered in this emotional narrative, is one of dedication, resilience, and spiritual commitment. His voice may no longer be heard in sermons or broadcasts, but the message he carried continues to echo through those who were impacted by his work. In many ways, the emotional response to this announcement reflects something deeper than sadness. It reflects gratitude for a lifetime of service and recognition of a legacy that spans generations. For supporters, the memory of Rev. James Robison is not limited to a single moment or announcement. It is carried forward in teachings, humanitarian work, and personal testimonies from people whose lives were changed through his ministry. And in that sense, the emotional message shared by his wife becomes more than an announcement. It becomes a reflection of a journey, one that continues to live on in faith, memory, and the countless lives shaped by his voice.